Hey guys, it's a few minutes after 7 a.m. here on Friday, February 6th. Before I get to my pickup video here, there were a few noteworthy things on the business end of video games, electronics, whatever. First up, Sears and Kmart getting out of the video game market altogether. They are... at least in store, I should say that. I should stop and say that in store they will no longer be carrying any video games. It sounds like online will still be available, and I'm assuming that's to centralize their supply chain if they have it shipping from one spot as opposed to having to stock both Sears and Kmart. They can cut down on shipping and storage costs. Etc. You know, Sears and Kmart have not been doing good for a long time. I don't know, mainly because Sears used to be the spot to go when you needed a TV or a big appliance, and they just can't keep up with everybody else. Our Sears in town here seems to be doing fine. Same with our Kmart. That said, the brand, both brands themselves have taken a major hit in the past 10 years. They're unable to keep up with online sales, and it seems like they were firmly rooted in their catalog business, which is funny. But anyway, so long, video games department at Sears and Kmart. Up next, kind of a sad one. Not kind of a sad one, totally a sad one, because people are going to lose jobs over this. Radio Shack filed for bankruptcy yesterday or Wednesday, I can't remember now. But closing all but, I think they're closing 4,000 stores and 1,500 will remain, but it sounds like Sprint is buying those out and turning them into Sprint stores, and they'll still, it was unclear, but it sounds like they'll still carry some Radio Shack product, but most likely are going to be rebranded as Sprint stores. So, yeah, that's kind of sad. I remember when I was a kid, and that was where I played with my first computer. Was the Radio Shack in the old South Forks Plaza. I mean, Grand Forks used to have enough demand that we could support 2 Radio Shacks in this small town. That gives you an idea of how big Radio Shack was at one point. And I think they said that Radio Shack itself has been open for 94 or 95 years, so it's a business that's been around for almost 100 years, so to lose them is kind of sad. Enough about the business talk. Let's get to the pickup video. First up, I had to go to the bank. I only really hit one thrift store today. I had to go to the bank, so I swung by Goodwill. It's about a block away from my bank. They only had one thing, but I'm glad I got it. It's Kingdom Hearts 2. It's $1.99, no manual. Disc is in great shape. Box is a little worse the case is a little worse for the wear, but the artwork is also in great shape. So I'm going to track down a manual for it. It was $1.99. Pretty solid pickup for $1.99. I'm not going to complain about that. I took my main mission I took that big lot of stuff that I got on eBay a few weeks ago for like $30 for, it was like 38 or 39 games. I took what I wanted out of there, and the rest of it was traded in. Just so happens at Rock 30, for every $25 you trade in, you get a bonus credit of $5. So, or is it 10%? I can't remember. No, it was $5. So I ended up getting $76 in trade credit, and I did a trade with a gentleman who works there, between our private collections, not the store stuff. So, up first I'll do the trade. This was a big pickup for me for my Xbox collection. I do not have this. Test Drive Eve of Destruction. Becoming a fairly rare game. It was already rare to begin with. Fairly valuable as well. Open copies. get anywhere between 30 to 40 bucks online. A brand new copy will fetch about $70, so it's definitely glad to have it in the collection. It's in great shape. The case, there's somebody who's selling this at a rummage sale at some point. I'll have to clean that up. It's got a 20 written on it. But Test Drive Eva Destruction, it's actually a really good racing game. Kind of along the lines of a Burnout style, but with more like Demolition Derby style enduro racing cars. Not the slick, fancy looking cars of Burnout. Not that that's a bad thing. Burnout 3 and Burnout Paradise are brilliant racing games, and I've said before I don't like racing games. Okay, so the pickups from Rock 30 were relatively small, but 3 games I really wanted. First up, told you before, love fighting games. Guilty Gear absolutely kicks my ass. I can hold my own in Street Fighter 2 and Mortal Kombat for sure, and even JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. That one's not as hardcore. It's a pretty user-friendly game. But Guilty Gear always kicks my ass, but I have a blast playing it. Guilty Gear, King of Fighters, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, especially in the 2D stuff. But there's that. This pickup from Rock 30 was basically free with my trade credit. Up next, I'd always wanted to play this, and today, to use up all my trade credit, this was $5. So I'm glad I got it. Project Sylphid, Arc of Deception. It is a 360 exclusive. It's a 3D shooter, space shooter. It has customization, so I don't know if it has like an RPG style progression or just customization, but I'm glad to get it because I always wanted to play it. It was only $5. It's not particularly valuable, but it is a 360 exclusive, so exclusives tend to, over time, get tougher and tougher to find, especially if they didn't sell well to begin with. So I'm glad to put it in the collection. Really excited to play it. Alright, the last pickup from Rock 30, being that I had that much trade credit, I went all in and picked up a very important game for the Xbox and for my collection, and a really fun game in its own right. And that is Star Wars Battlefront 2. This is an not extremely rare, but very hard to find in most cases game. It's not cheap at all. It was $55, but it cost me nothing on trade credit. I'm glad I just finally said, to hell with it, I'm going all in, I'm picking this up, adding it to the collection. Needs a new case, artwork is in great shape. Rock 30, obviously. If they have to, they clean and buff games. This one doesn't appear to have ever been buffed. It's definitely been cleaned up, but I'm glad to get it. And I have Battlefront 1 and 2 for the Xbox. Now that I think about it, I think I've got all the Star Wars games for the original Xbox. I'd have to go over a list and check really quick, but I'm almost positive that I've got all the Star Wars games for the original Xbox. Then I had to go to Best Buy. I'm in the process of rearranging my recording area here. I put in a new shelving unit. I'll do a game room tour video pretty soon. But I put in a new shelving unit, and I put my Dreamcast, my SNES, and my GameCube up on the shelf. In the process of putting my Genesis in, but I got a PS2, a 360, a PS3, and my Genesis will go in here somewhere when I finally get it set up. But I have all of my systems right here. It's interesting. My big rig over there does have another 360 and PS3 on it. Both of these I picked up this past summer before I started doing my collecting videos. It's a 40 gig PS3, non-backwards compatible, but I got it for $60. And the Final Fantasy 360, I'm going to do air quotes, didn't work. And the reason it didn't work is the power brick was damaged. The second prong inside the power brick for the 360 was broken off, so he wasn't getting power to it. and I didn't know what was wrong with it, but I had, and it's the FAT 360, the Final Fantasy one with the 250 gig hard drive. So he sold it to me on the cheap, $40. It's in great shape. It's got scuff across the top of it. It looks like something. It looks like actually maybe another device was set on there, but we'll get to that in another time. So I went into GameStop, and I'm amazed that this was just sitting on the shelves there. The stock there is really weird sometimes. I don't know why this would be in the Grand Forks store. I can't imagine there were a ton of people clamoring for it, but this is Aquapaza Aqua Plus Dream Match. It's a 2D fighter, and as I said with the Guilty Gear one, I love fighting games. Like I said, not particularly good at them. I don't know a ton about this, but every review I've read and watched, this seems to be right in my wheelhouse. It looks amazing. It's also produced by Atlas, which means it's probably got a relatively low print run, which reminds me, Awakened Fate Unlimited, I believe is what it called. Ultimate or Unlimited, can't remember right off the top of my head. Comes out in March. Looks like a pretty awesome action RPG roguelike is what I'm hearing about it, so I'm kind of excited to play it. But yeah, Aquapaza 2D fighter. I'll show you this. I've talked about it before. This is the Hori Fighting Commander Pro for the PS3. This is my favorite fighting game controller. They say it's pro. I would say more intermediate, but it does have some pro options built in there. You can, there's that dial right there allows you to lock the D-pad so it only moves up, down, left, right. Or you can unlock it and it functions more like a floating D-pad. You have a switch to control it's digital pad, left stick or right stick gets mapped to this with this little control switch. There's a turbo button. You can flip the orientation of the shoulders. And it's got this offset handle, which is really nice. It actually fits in your hand probably better than a DualShock, at least my hand, better than a DualShock 3. You can also adjust the angle of the D-pad itself, which is nice, because, as you can see, my thumb, I don't know anybody that actually holds the controller straight on, so to be able to turn the D-pad to match how your thumb rests on it is pretty neat. But yeah, I don't see a ton of these out there, and I think they're kind of expensive at this point, but if you like fighting games, not even competitively, but if you love fighting games, this was $30, and it was well worth the $30. So enough about that. That will work obviously great with Aquapaza. There was an Amazon sale on this week. This is a series I absolutely love. This was $19 on Amazon this week. Kind of a steal for this game. And this is also one of those ones that people have been talking about it online for a little while. This might have gotten a low print run as well. So it might be one of those ones that skyrockets in value. Right now you can probably track down a copy for $15 to $20 new or used. But it strikes me as, after reading about more of it, this probably did not, obviously didn't sell as well as the 3DS version, because there's just, by nature of the beast, there's fewer Wii U's than there are 3DS's, so this didn't sell as well. So I'm thinking that at some point this might be tough to track down, Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. Alright, so I alluded to the fact that Kmart is getting rid of video games, and their loss is my gain. This was on clearance, by no means cheap, but by no means cheap for what I paid even on a clearance sale, but cheap in the grand scheme of things. I grabbed Pikmin 3 for $40 today. That might not sound like an incredible steal, but new copies of Pikmin 3 are going for upwards of $100 on Amazon and eBay, and open copies are going between $70 to $80. So to get this for $40, I kick myself every day for selling Pikmin 1 and 2. I had them. and I got rid of them before they skyrocketed in value. I think I sold the pair for 45 or 50 bucks. So they were still valuable. I just never anticipated them going that crazy. But yeah, I'm glad to get it. Unfortunately, I don't think you can claim... I can't start a new account, so if anybody sees this and has a Club Nintendo account already, go ahead and take that code and get the coins for it, because Club Nintendo is shut down as well. Yeah, this must be from a launch copy of Pikmin 3, because it's got stuff advertising. It's got stuff advertising Nintendo Land and New Super Mario Brothers, U. So yeah, this is pretty amazing for 40 bucks, considering what I would have to pay if I wanted to pay eBay prices for it. All right, just a quick recap. Kingdom Hearts 2 for the PlayStation 2. Test Drive Eve of Destruction for the Xbox. Guilty Gear X for the PS2. Project Sylphid, Arc of... what is it again? Arc of Deception for the 360. Aquapazza, Aqua Plus Dream Match for the PS3. Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. And last but not least, two fairly rare and definitely getting harder to find games. Pikmin 3 for the Wii U and Star Wars Battlefront 2. I am really glad to get both of these. As is with Test Drive Eve of Destruction, that's getting tougher to find and certainly a more expensive game. If you like my videos, thumbs up, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully I'll have something for you next week.